What's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing some Tri-Brigade test hands. So I'm really excited to do this to you guys because this deck was actually suggested to me by one of my patrons, Jin. And this deck is an extremely fun deck to be able to play with because of how many one-card combos this deck has, and what absolutely insane boards that those one-card combos can make. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like getting your name scripted in a single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month you're a patron, along with test hands. And definitely don't forget to give Jin some love down in the comments down below for suggesting such an awesome deck. So let's get straight on into this one, guys. So this deck is a really fun deck to be able to play with just how many one-card combos you can actually pull off with this deck. Getting your Frocktail and even getting your copy of Rescue Cat pretty much is full combo, or even Tinky, because it'll get you to your copy of Frocktail. And I've had so much fun actually play testing this deck, I have considered carrying it over to locals and actually playing it in a tournament because it's just so fun to be able to play. It's a really cool deck, and it's actually fairly budget to be able to pick up all of the Tri-Brigade cards, which is really nice about this deck. But you guys know that it's dad rule number one, that we gotta pile shuffle up the deck, because if we don't pile shuffle the deck, you run the risk of breaking. Even with a super consistent deck like this, you still run the risk. So make sure that you pile shuffle every time you play. So let's go ahead and see what we can do for our first test hand, because this deck is absolutely insane. So we're gonna give the deck a quick little shuffle and then see what we can do. So I'm going to go ahead and draw into a copy of our Tri-Brigade kit, a copy of Nirval, a copy of Karas, a copy of our Karas, and a copy of Psyframe Drivers. This is actually not that bad of a hand. You do have full combo with the copy of Karas and Kit, which is really nice. We didn't open the copy of our Rescue Cat or our Frocktail, but that's totally fine because you still have full combo with this hand. You have a 2-card combo in this particular hand instead of a 3-card combo, which is still pretty good. So let's go ahead and see what we can do for our first test hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use the effect of Karas to be able to special summon it to the field by discarding my copy of Kit to the graveyard, which is going to help out a lot to be able to get that Kit in the grave, because it's actually going to use its effect to be able to send the copy of Nirval to the grave, which is really nice just to get the copy of Nirval directly in the graveyard so we can start going in for some plays. Because your copy of Nirval is then going to search out from the deck a copy of Frocktail, which is going to get us full combo, which is really nice just to be able to go full circle with this deck and be able to get to your copy of Frocktail, which is just really nice. So let's go ahead and shuffle it up and then see what else we can do. So now that we have the copy of our Karas on the field, you can, if you want to go for the copy of your Shirog, you can go ahead and discard the copy of your Frocktail and then send another copy of a monster to the graveyard, which is going to get us full combo and it's going to help out a lot. Or we can just go ahead and normal summon out the copy of Frocktail to our side of the field, because we haven't normal summoned yet, and then we can link if we want to, but I'm actually going to go around with a different route, and I'm actually going to send it to the graveyard to be able to send an additional Tri-Brigade monster from our deck to the grave. Doesn't really matter which one you send, I'm just going to send a copy of Kit to the graveyard so that we can keep going with our plays. And we haven't even used our normal summon yet, which is what's really nice about this deck. And that's what's cool about this deck, is you have so many different ways that you can actually play your hand. It's really cool. So now that we have 4 in the graveyard, I'm going to go ahead and use the effect to be able to banish all 4 of these by the effect of the Karas, and I'm going to special summon out my copy of Shirog. Now Shirog is very important to get out to your side of the field because it's going to be able to use as a link material to get us a search from the deck, which is going to help us out a lot. But the way that we actually summoned out that card was by the common effect of all of our Tri-Brigade monsters, which is really cool. Now, every single Tri-Brigade monster in the main deck actually share a common effect that you can banish Beast, Beast Warrior, or Wing Beast monsters from your graveyard to be able to special summon out a Link monster from the extra deck with the same rating as the amount that you actually banish. So for example, if I banish 4, I can summon out a Link 4 from my extra deck. The only downside to this is that I cannot bring this monster back from the graveyard because it was not properly summoned by Link Summon. It was special summoned by a card effect. So keep that in mind as you're playing the deck. I'm actually going to show you guys a way that you can remember which ones you summon correctly. So At this point, now that I've got the copy of Shirog on the field, I'm going to go ahead and link these monsters away to be able to summon out a copy of Bearbrum. Now, this is really important to be able to summon out the copy of Bearbrum because it's going to get us into more plays later on. So, at this point, we have linked away the copy of the Ominous Omen, and it's actually going to go off to be able to search the deck for another Beast Warrior or Winged Beast monster from our deck equal to the level of the amount of monsters that we have banished, which is going to be 4, which I actually sat them in the graveyard, but these 4 are the ones that we actually had banished. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and use the effect of the copy of Ominous Omen to be able to add from our deck to our hand a copy of our Fabled Cerberus, which is what I always add going first because it's going to get us an additional negate with what we're about to do with this particular field. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and shuffle up the deck, which is going to help us out a lot to be able to go in for more plays. But now that we've got that settled, we're going to go ahead and flip the copy of our Shirog upside down. Now, this is something that I actually do when I'm playing Tri-Brigade in play testing, just for the test stands to keep, so I know which ones I've actually not summoned properly so that I don't try and bring them back. So I'm going to go ahead and flip that card face down, or basically flip it upside down so that I know that I've actually used that card and I haven't actually summoned it properly. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and use the copy of Bearbrum's ability to be able to discard 2 cards from my hand to be able to target one of my Tri-Brigade monsters that's banished and bring it back to the field, which is going to help us out a lot. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and discard the copy of Fabled Cerberus and the copy of Psyframe Driver to the graveyard because it doesn't matter which ones you actually discard, you just have to discard any 2 cards. So I have a brick in the hand with a Psyframe Driver, and the copy of Fabled Cerberus will actually revive itself back to the field. So I'm going to bring back my copy of Kit to my side of the field as well, which is going to get me even more plays. Because now the Kit has not gone off, I used Caress originally to be able to summon out the Shirog. This card was actually legitimately summoned, and I did not summon out another monster using Kit, which is really helpful because I have 2 more in the graveyard to be able to banish. So I'm going to go ahead and banish both of these monsters from the graveyard to be able to summon out a copy of Frigid to my side of the field, which is going to help us out even more because I still haven't normal summoned in this particular combo, believe it or not, which is absolutely crazy. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and synchro summon, yes, we do synchro summon in this deck, into a copy of our Herald of the Arclight, which is going to establish another negate. Now, you could have done that beforehand, before you summoned out the copy. Well, you couldn't have because you had to use the copy of Kit, but now you have the copy of the Arclight on your side of the field to be able to go in for more plays. Now, at this point, we do have full combo pretty much on the field. You can go a little bit further if you want to by normal summoning out the copy of the Nearval to your side of the field because we do have another zone that we actually point to. So I'm going to go ahead and normal summon out the copy of Nearval to my side of the field because you need to have at least 1 card in your hand left over for the full combo because both your copy of Bearbrum and your copy of Frigid, when you draw the card and search your copy of Revolt when they touch the grave, it's really important to have it because you're going to have to put a card back. So you want to be able to keep your copy of Revolt in your hand. You don't even have to activate the copy of Frigid's ability. You can just use the other cards. But we have not used Nearval's ability yet. So I'm going to go ahead and use its ability to be able to banish 2 Beast Warrior or Wing Beasts from the graveyard to be able to special summon out to my side of the field a copy of Ancient Warriors Double Dragon Lords. Now this is going to get us a bounce on our side of the field on top of what we already have, which is really, really good. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and link summon using the copies of these 3 monsters on my side of the field just to kind of clean up the board. And I'm going to use all 3 of my copy of Barren Blossom, which is going to be counted as a link 1, the copy of Nearval, which is going to be a link 1, and the copy of the Bearbrum, which I'm counting as a link 2, to summon out the copy of our Appaloosa, which is going to give us a total of 3 negates on the copy of Appaloosa. Now at this point, since these cards went to the graveyard, we've already used the copy of Nearval's effect, so we're not going to worry about that card's effect. We're not going to worry about the copy of Frigid, which is going to let us draw a card and then put a card back, but we're really going to worry about the copy of our Bearbrum. Bearbrum is really important in this particular lineup because we're going to want to get to our copy of Tri-Brigade Revolt as quickly as possible. Now we are going to have to put a card back on the bottom of the deck, which is our copy of our Caress, but now we have our powerhouse play in our hand with 4 negates on the field and a bounce. So I'm going to go ahead and set our copy of Tri-Brigade Revolt and pass to the opponent. Now this is what the field should pretty much look like unless you have a copy of Rescue Cat, which may push for a little bit more, but it's totally fine. You still have a really good field with this setup. 4 negates and a bounce with the copy of Revolt, this is the way that you have to play the deck. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and let the opponent go. And let's just say that we're going to go ahead and negate the first card that they play with the copy of Herald of Arclight. So once you do, we're going to go ahead and say, wait a minute, we're going to actually flip that copy of our Barren Blossom upside down because we did not summon that card legitimately. We actually summoned the copy of Bearbrum correctly, so we're going to go ahead and flip it upside down. So at this point, what we're going to do is go ahead and use the effect of Appaloosa to give us more negates, which is really helpful, or you can use a copy of Double Dragon Lords to be able to get a bounce against the opponent by just sending it to the graveyard, which is going to help us out. But at this point, we can just go ahead and flip the copy of Tri-Brigade Revolt, and we're going to go ahead and put 3 of our Tri-Brigades, or 4 of our Tri-Brigades back on the field, which is our copy of Frogtail, and basically each one of our monsters, which we immediately have to link summon using these 4 monsters that we actually summon off the copy of Revolt. So we're going to go ahead and link summon using all 4 of these monsters on our side of the field, which will actually make all 4 of them activate their effects. Well, these 2 won't, but these 2 will actually activate, but the only one you're really going to want to activate is your copy of Nirval, which is going to get us a copy of our Frogtail directly from our hand during the next turn, which is really helpful for a follow-up play. But we're going to go ahead and summon out a copy of our Shirog, which is also going to get us a Banish on the field as well. So we've gotten 4 negates, a Banish, and a bounce on our side of the field with this particular lineup. And this is why I say this deck can take on just about any meta deck, is because you have fields like this where you're getting a Banish, you had a negate over here, you had 3 up here, and you have a bounce right here. So you have all the plays that you need with this particular deck. Also, we're going to get a search of additional monster from the deck, which could be our copy of Karas, it could be a copy of our Frogtail, it could be any of the cards that you need from your deck to your hand. I'm just going to go ahead and grab the copy of Frogtail, which is going to get us into another copy of Frigid during the next turn, because we actually sent the copy of our Nirval to the graveyard as a link material, which is really, really good. So your copy of Revolt, that's why Revolt is so good in this deck, because Revolt brings back 4 monsters to your side of the field, and since they were used as link material and then touch the grave, it restocks the graveyard so you can use Frogtail's ability next turn, and it also gets the effects of all of your Tri-Brigades that go to the graveyard, like your copy of Kit and your Nirval, which is really good. So we're going to go ahead and send that to the graveyard and then let the opponent do whatever they're going to do. We're probably going to keep a field that looks somewhat like this. We might not have the copy of the Ancient Warriors Double Dragon Lords, but we're still going to have a pretty good field. So we're going to go ahead into the next turn. I'm going to go ahead and give the deck a quick little shuffle just to see what we draw into. It's probably going to be a hand trap because I haven't seen a hand trap yet, which is kind of weird, but we're still probably going to see a hand trap. Actually, we're going to see another copy of Frogtail. That's kind of weird, but okay. We're going to go ahead and normal summon out the copy of Frogtail and use its ability, just like all of your other Tri-Brigade monsters share the ability, and we're going to go ahead and banish from the grave our 4 Tri-Brigade monsters, which is going to be our copy of Karas, our copy of Nirval, our copy of Kit, and a copy of Frogtail. We're going to go ahead and banish all 4 of those, and we're going to summon out another copy of Shirog to our side of the field, and once we do, we're going to get an additional bounce and then go in for game with this field, which is really cool because you have this really, really simple field. Now, another really cool play that you can actually do with this particular field, depending on what your opponent has set up, if you use the Appaloosa and use multiple negates on the Appaloosa, but it's still on the field, and you do have the copy of the Double Dragon Lords, we're actually going to go ahead and link these away, and you can actually summon out to your side of the field one of 2 link monsters. Since you're using a link 4, you can actually, or really you just are using a link 2, you can actually step into a copy of Access Code, which is going to get us additional plays to pop cards on the field, or you can step into a copy of Scareclaw Tryheart, which is going to shift all monsters in defense position except for link monsters, and then it's unaffected by everything except monsters, or it's unaffected by every monster that's in defense position, which is a pretty good effect to be able to put on the field, because this card basically turns Sword Soul and Despia completely off, which is really, really cool. But we can go ahead and just summon out the access code to get additional pops, which is really cool because we do have the copy of the Double Dragon Lords that we can banish. We have the copy of Appaloosa we can target, which will put this card at 63. And we have the copy of Bearbrum, and we have the copy of Frigid, which will get us three pops, excuse me, with this particular card, which is really, really good. So you get these really crazy fields that are super powerful. So let's go ahead and go into the next test hand and see what we can do for the next one. Because as you guys see, this deck is really powerful. You can go into some really easy fields, and usually with the test hands, you guys will see as you play the deck yourself that you'll open up cards like Gamma or Crossout Designator or even Call by the Grave that's going to protect your monsters on your side of the field, like your copy of Frogtail, which is full combo. Like, let me show you guys really quickly what the full combo of the deck is. So if you open up a copy of Karass plus your copy of Kit, this is full combo. If you open up your copy of Frogtail, that's full combo. If you open up a copy of your, actually, let's not shuffle in the Double Dragon Lords, but if you actually open up any of these, this is full combo. Or even if you open up just this, which is your copy of Tinky, this is full combo in the deck. Either opening up a Tinky, which will get you to Frogtail, Frogtail on its own, Kit plus your copy of Karass, or a copy of Rescue Cat. This is going to get you full combo because this is going to send your copy of Kit, then Nearval, and then Search Karass, which is going to get you all the pieces that you need to be able to step into the next card. Your copy of Rescue Cat is going to get you 2 monsters on the field, which is usually going to be the Karass or the Kit, and the copy of your Tinky is going to get you to Frogtail, which then you're going to be able to do Frogtail plays, which is really cool. Plus, you have cards that can protect this particular lineup, which is kind of cool, like your copy of Gamma, your copies of your Crossout Designator, and your copies of Call by the Grave. So you actually have 7 ways to make sure that your copy of these are going to go through, because you're not going to have a monster on the field when these go off. So your copy of Gamma can protect. You're playing just about every hand trap in the game with Crossout Designator, and Call by the Grave just stops hand traps. So you have all these different ways to be able to stop the opponent, which is really cool, to make sure that you're going to go through the plays. As you guys can tell, I've been testing this deck a lot recently, and it's just super fun. Like, I really like this deck. I love the artwork of the cards. I love the way it plays. I love the way that this deck just flows. And it's really cool how you can mix Tri-Brigade into a bunch of different things. Like, you can mix into Lyrilusk, you can mix it into this, Zodiac. Like, there's just so many ways. Ancient Warriors, like anything that's a Beast Warrior or Winged Beast, you can mix this deck into, which is kind of cool. So let's go ahead and shuffle up the deck again and see what we can do. Keep in mind, I'm not pile shuffling, so we might draw weird, but we're going to go ahead and just play it through. So let's go ahead and shuffle it up and see what we can do. So we're going to go ahead and draw into a copy of Kit, a copy of Nearval, a copy of Call by the Grave, a Droll Knockbird, and a copy of Rescue Cat. See, we're fine. This looked weird. This looked really weird, and I didn't see a playable card in the hand, and then I went, okay, Rescue Cat, we got it. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go ahead and normal summon out the Rescue Cat, and this is really cool because then I get to show you guys the full combo Rescue Cat. So we're going to go ahead and tribute the copy of Rescue Cat or send it to the graveyard off of its effect. And then we're going to summon out from the deck a copy of our Karass and a copy of Kit, which again, see, we're getting full combo because we're going to be able to send that copy of Kit to the grave. But we're going to start out with a link monster instead of just one monster on the field when we send all those cards to grave. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and link these two together. And once we do, we now have 3 monsters in the graveyard, and we're going to go ahead and link summon into a copy of Frigid. I usually like to go into the copy of Frigid right off the bat when I go in for Rescue Cat because it's going to give us an additional draw and we can special summon a monster from our hand. So then I'm going to go ahead and normal summon out to the field a copy of Nearval. Nearval is going to help us out a lot. Actually, we're going to go ahead and use the effect of Kit because Kit touched the graveyard and we're going to send a Nearval. So that's something that you got to watch as you're playing is as soon as Kit touches the grave, you can send Nearval and the Nearval will search you your copy of Frogtail, which is going to get you another play. So you don't want to get ahead of yourself while you're playing the deck. So that's very important to keep in mind as you're playing is you're not just linking cards away, you're getting effects as you're linking, which is why this deck is so powerful, while also stacking the graveyard up with cards that you can use. So now we still have 5 cards in our hand, and we could have protected it with a call by, and we have a hand trap. So let's go ahead and just say that our opponent did not hit us with a copy of Ash, but if they did, we do have the call by. So at this point, I can go ahead and use the effect of our Frogtail if I want to go ahead and use the Frogtail just to get us an additional monster, but we already have 4, so it doesn't even matter to be able to do that. But we're going to go ahead and use the copy of our Frigid's ability to be able to special summon out to our side of the field a copy of Nearval. Nearval's effect is going to go off, and we're going to go ahead and banish from our graveyard 4 Beast Warrior Wing Beasts, and we're going to go ahead and special summon out from the deck or from our extra deck, a copy of Shirog. Shirog is going to help us out because we're going to go ahead and link these two away. And once you do, the copy of the Shirog is going to go off after we summon out the copy of Bearbrum to our side of the field. And we're going to go ahead and use the effect of our Shirog to be able to search the Fabled Cerberus, which is going to help us out a lot to be able to go in for that Herald of Arclight play like we did before. Now, the cool thing is about this setup is if you actually opened up a copy of Gamma on the very first play, you could summon out Gamma Driver, and then you could step into a copy of Borreload Savage Dragon, which would get us an additional negate every single turn, which is really good. So, at this point, we're going to go ahead, and these are going to be in the grave. We're going to use the copy of Bearbrum's ability to be able to discard 2 cards from our hand, which I'm actually going to discard the copy of Kit, because right now the copy of Kit is actually useless, but the copy of the Frogtail can be useless or useful later. So we're going to go ahead and discard both of these, and we're going to special summon out a copy of Kit to our side of the field, or we can actually summon out the copy of Karas because we have not used the Karas's ability. Actually, I don't believe we've used, yeah, we have used the copy of our, the copy of Kit on our side of the field, or Nirval. So we're going to go ahead and use the effect of our Cerberus to bring it back to our side of the field, or Cerberus, and then we're going to go ahead and synchro these two together, or you can actually summon it down here, if you want to summon it down here, and use the effect of the Karas to be able to banish 2 from our graveyard, which can be the copy of the Shirog and the Nirval, because we're not using the zone currently, to be able to summon out the Double Dragon Lords, which is going to help us out even more because now we have a bounce. Then we're going to go ahead and synchro these two, and then we're going to summon out a copy of Herald of the Arclight to our side of the field, giving us all of these monsters on our side of the field. Now that Nirval was actually special summoned out with the effect of our copy of Frigid. So we can actually normal summon out the copy of our Frogtail if we want to, or just hold on to it. But I like to usually hold on to it because it's going to give us additional plays later on, and we already have plenty of negates. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and link these two away on my side of the field, summon out a copy of Appaloosa, and then once you do, depending on what your matchup is, you'll summon out the copy of Appaloosa, or you'll normal summon out the copy of the Tri-Brigade Frogtail, and you'll summon out the Scareclaw Triheart, which if you're going up against Despia or Sword Soul, make this card. Because if you make this with 3 monsters, you're going to be able to use the ability of this card to be able to shift everything in defense position. This card is basically kind of like Baguska, that is going to shift cards into defense position, which is pretty cool. But at this point, we're just going to say we're going to make the copy of Appaloosa, and we're going to do Chainlink 1 on the copy of Bearbrum, Chainlink 2 on the copy of Frigid. So we're going to go ahead and draw a card, and then put a card on the bottom of the deck, which we're going to draw a copy of Tinky. I'm actually going to put the Tinky back on the bottom of the deck because I don't really need it. And then I'm going to go ahead and use the effect of the Bearbrum to be able to grab from the deck a copy of Tri-Brigade Revolt. Now, once we have the copy of Tri-Brigade Revolt, we're going to be able to set it to our side of the field, and we actually only really used 2 cards in our hand. We actually really only used 1 card in our hand because we had 4 cards at the end of the combo, which is kind of cool. Because we have full combo with the 1 copy of Rescue Cat and got this whole field with Rescue Cat, giving us 3 negates, a hand trap, and a call by the grave to be able to stop the opponent. So we're going to go ahead and set both of these on the field, playing around the Mech Knight. We're going to pass over to the opponent, say that we stopped a negate right here, and once we do, we're going to be able to flip the copy of our Tri-Brigade Revolt right down here, bring back our monsters to our side of the field, which is going to be a copy of Nirval, a copy of our Tri-Brigade Kit, a copy of, where is our Karas? There's Karas right there, and another monster, which can be another copy of Kit. Doesn't matter what names they are, just matters that you have the Tri-Brigade monsters, and then link all of these away for a copy of Shirog, which is going to get us a additional banish on the field, which is really, really good. We also have the copy of Droll that we can stop the opponent with, which is helpful as well. And you have the copy of Double Dragon Lords to be able to tribute a card or send a card from your hand or field to the grave to be able to use its ability. We also have the copy of Call by the Grave to be able to banish an additional card. So you have 2 negates, 3 negates right here with the Herald of Arclight that we already sent, and the copy of the Shirog to be able to banish and a bounce right here. That's going to be a lot of cards for your opponent to have to deal with when they're going through this deck. So I think that pretty much shows how the deck plays, guys. This deck is really amazing. You only have a couple of really crazy plays in the deck, but you basically end with the same board every time if you don't get hand trapped through it, which is totally fine. But even if you get hand trapped through it, you have Gamma, you have your copy of Call By, you basically play every single hand trap in the entire game, which is really, really crazy. So I think that's going to do it for this one, guys. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Definitely tell me what you think of this deck down in the comments down below. And if you guys would like to check out the deck profile for this one, as always, it is down in the description down below. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys!